Bocchi The Rock is perfection. Let's say it's the anime for the soul, an anime for the masses, an essential stepping stone for mankind, the pinnacle of human innovation, or as a terminally online person would say, a certified hood classic that will raise up your inner beast. That sentence just took 5 years of my life, though just like everyone, I was expecting this anime to be just another cute girls doing cute things anime, but this time it's music. And yes, I was right. But it is a bit short-sighted to say that this is the only good quality this anime has, because the fans clearly had a different and deeper appreciation for Bocchi The Rock. If you want proof, just look at the internet. The religious cult, fandom, the memes, and fanarts showing their love for the anime and the characters. For better or for worse, this anime made me laugh, cringe, relax, and feel warm and nostalgic in a way that a simple cute girls doing cute things anime can't do alone, unless there is something special about it. So, what makes this anime special? And to uncover all of it, let's start with the main character. Here we have Hitorigoto. Hitorigoto is a high school girl who has been struggling to have friends since ever. When she was in middle school, she decided to learn to play the guitar in order to gain friends, showcase her skills, and hopefully start a band with someone, which on paper sounds like a good idea until you get requested to play Wonderwall for the 23rd time. But alas, she became good at it. So good that she's that one random Japanese YouTuber who's really good at guitar covers that will get recommended to you by the algorithm. However, her crippling social anxiety is keeping her from showing all of her skills. Thus, still friendless and bandless in the end. But with a stroke of luck, two bandmates, Nijika and Ryo, are looking for a guitar player ASAP because their other guitar player / vocalist randomly left, just like your dad who went out to buy some milk. And that's where they found our MC, became their lead guitarist, and was given the nickname Bocchi, which in Japanese, combined with her name Hitori, her parent given name, it means alone, says Hitori Bocchi. It means all alone. With a name like that, she never had a chance. Oh, and the one who ditched is actually this girl, but with a hilarious coincidence, she got caught but eventually became the final member. And now, with the band complete, they strive to become a popular band across Japan. Now that we have an initial understanding of who Bocchi is, it's pretty clear that this anime will have this relatability factor that will endear and connect with the viewers. Even though she's objectively good looking, more talented than us, and has an online presence, but okay. When it comes to relatability, however, it's not going to be OMG, she's literally me. She can talk with anyone, that's cute, that's so me. No one talks to her, guys, OMG, she's so me. No. In here, you will cringe, and then laugh, and then cringe again, and then realize that you could see yourself in her situation, doing what she did in that situation. And then you die from cringe. Because I swear to God, Bocchi will just do and say the most painfully relatable things with comical accuracy, like suddenly having a flashback of a cringe memory, excessive daydreaming, taking the time to download your selected personality, only to get ignored the whole day, class pictures are the only pictures you have, and overthinking. Like, the girl here is so friendless that her parents automatically assume that her bandmates are rental friends. They cannot fathom her daughter having actual friends, which is actually sad, and now I feel bad laughing at her. But at least we can say that we can relate to this friendless, socially awkward, and introverted pink guitar hero to make us feel less guilty. Although as an introvert myself, I can vouch for others saying that introversion isn't Bocchi's problem. And this is another thing I applaud about this anime. This anime clearly shows us that the reason Bocchi struggles to gain friends in the first place is not because of her introversion. Let me explain. As we all know, an introvert is a person who prefers peace, solitude, and introspection. And because of this, I understand that it's easy to lump introverts with people who have social anxiety because of our quote-unquote disdain towards socializing. But in reality, being an introvert doesn't stop us from having friends, connections, or basically socializing. We just prefer not to do that all the time. The reason Bocchi struggles to gain friends is not that she's an introvert, but it's because of her social anxiety. A crippling one. So to clarify again, these are not introverted problems, but rather social anxiety ones that I think everyone has or had in varying degrees, introverted or extroverted. This is basically shown as an example in episode 2 when she compares herself to Rio after finding out she has little to no friends just like her, only to find out that Rio is a loner and Bocchi is alone. Two different things. One is fine being alone or talking to a few people, and the other is not. One is doing just fine performing, and the other has to hide in a box to avoid another panic attack. Introversion, social anxiety, and so on. But now you're asking, isn't this whole haha I have crippling social anxiety thing kinda unoriginal, considering the anime or manga that's been out previously? And yes, you are correct. However, the reason why this anime has a little more punch to it than usual is really just because of the presentation. So in general, for a slice of life anime, the animation, art style, and visuals are fantastic. Some of these will require a second watch just in order to digest and appreciate them, but the obvious ones are in the musical performances, where the drumming animation matched the song. Yes, that's a chord that matches the song. And also shots like these. Good stuff. I know it's not the first anime to do it, but it's still impressive regardless. And that's just the technical standpoint. And we're not just gonna stop there, because the people behind the scenes are either super talented and creative, smoked some shit, or both. They're using several types of animations, art styles, and visuals just to convey anxiety in a wacky and chaotic way, but with a dose of light-hearted comedy that just really hits hard on you. A level of relatability that is so high, no matter the visuals, it just speaks to the soul. They use stop motion, 3D animation, whatever the hell this is. Then she also has like 1,000 forms and faces that are just really funny with or without context that I'm definitely using as captions on my future videos. Then there are some absolutely hilarious scenes like where the maid is supposed to give their love to the omelette to make it more delicious, like in a maid cafe. Then Bocchi has this thing. Then there's this scene where Bocchi is scared of entering a music shop, and like the calm person that she is, she decided to headbang while entering the shop in order to avoid speaking with the store owners. And then the POV changed to Bocchi as she gets dizzy from all of that headbanging, which for some reason I just found that scene really funny that I laughed at it for a half a minute. Like an innocent child. And then there's this scene right before Bocchi's gonna throw up due to her anxiety. They just played a montage of dams across Japan to depict Bocchi losing her breakfast, which is also a reference to something you'd rather not know. And speaking of references, there are a lot of anime references here, from Evangelion to Dragon Ball Z. And the most amazing thing here is, they only used one JoJo reference. And it's not the overused one. The people behind the production really enjoyed making Bocchi The Rock. They clearly abused every single ounce of creative freedom they had for the better. Well, if the source material is just a 4-panel manga series, they're bound to improvise in the adaptation. And improvise they did. That's why for a company-backed animated series, Bocchi The Rock feels like a passion project. But even with all of this, the music aspect of the anime has not been forgotten. It is not a one-trick pony, because as a music anime, Bocchi The Rock is still pretty good. The music genre the band plays in the anime, in a wider term, is indie rock, and nowadays it's one of the best genre picks to depict carefree youthful energy. The music in this anime is basically that one YouTube playlist of indie J-rock songs that you will stumble upon YouTube. It has this feeling of rawness and innocence and that teenage energy that makes you feel nostalgic, especially as a guy in his 20s who was solely into rock music and considered pursuing music as a career. Basically, every song is a banger, even the Bocchi monologues. Angelic. Speaking of music, apparently the anime and the manga have a cavalcade of J-rock references for the music nerds to enjoy. Although I'm not gonna pretend to know all of these references like some wannabe, these are the ones I listen to by the way, but it's nice to really see that the author really does love the music that she's portraying in the manga or anime. Although I now realize that anyone can do this, but still. Now, before we dive into the deeper and introspective parts of Bocchi The Rock, we need to have details on the other characters, because I feel it's what gives this anime and Bocchi herself the motivation to have depth and not just be your regular slice of life anime or character. First, we have Nijika, the drummer and leader of the band. She's the one who has a bit more experience in the business side, knowing that her older sister was a former member of a popular band who now owns a bar that gives upcoming bands some exposure. She's basically the glue that keeps things in check. Then we have the bassist Rio, who is the biggest music nerd in the band and the most creative one out of the four. She definitely gives off that I'm a music snub, fuck the mainstream energy who just listens to underground music only. Then we have the rhythm guitarist slash vocalist Kita, who to be honest, has the most shallow motivation out of the four, which is just to get under Rio's pants, to the point that she pretended to know guitar just to be with her, and to be fair, I don't blame her. Rio had that unspoken riz after all. But I gotta give her credit, for she is actually a prodigy for being able to sing and play guitar really well at a performance level despite being a beginner. And I'm also not forgetting Kikuri, who's basically that talented alcoholic stereotype who is basically Bocchi's senpai figure. I don't know if that's a good thing. Of course, they have their own cute, funny or cringe moments besides Bocchi having a panic attack every goddamn minute. Bocchi isn't the only funny one here, like Kita spending her 2-year budget only to buy a 6-string bass, mistaking it for a guitar, Rio being a troll, and Nijika telling us the most accurate thing in this anime, that bassists are terrible people. Sincerely, a bassist. The band has incredible chemistry with each other, amplified by the dialogue, comedic timing, the stellar voice acting, and also the fact that the anime gave them scenarios for them to get closer to each other and have their own dynamics. So no matter who gets paired with, it's always gonna be a fun one. Plus, it's also nice to see that her bandmates are actually kind to our little Bocchi, that they find her fun to be with and they don't find her annoying at all. That Bocchi finally found a place where she belongs, giving her the extra motivation and support to break out of her shell. But whenever they hang out at a bar, brainstorming about band stuff, songwriting, when they were working, or maybe they just wanna listen to some music, as they see their fellow bands getting a name for themselves, yes, the energy is infectious, and the vibes are off the roofs. Just a bunch of people having fun. There's a lurking feeling of bleakness and uncertainty that is secretly oozing in the bar, realizing that not every band performing here has a high guarantee that they will succeed, including our main characters, not even with an online following like Bocchi. We all know that some musicians had to give something up in order to chase this seemingly unreachable dream, dropping out of school, working several part-time jobs. Some had to sell out and make commercially accessible music rather than making music that they truly want. Yes, some of the bands garnered some kind of traction, but we all know that that is not a guarantee. These people could either be stars or end up failing, or both in this order. The anime gave us a glimpse of the harshness of being an upcoming musician when the girls performed for the first time in front of a small crowd that came for another band, with only a very few who actually came for them. They practiced and practiced a lot for this moment, and the crowd went mild. Mild is an overstatement. Bocchi noticed that the singer isn't singing the way she used to, and the bass and drums are not sounding good as well. This scene is cringe, and not the funny cringe. They are clearly bothered by the unbothered crowd, and you can feel the embarrassment in the air. And as usual, Bocchi can't play as good as she actually is because of her condition. So, she was frustrated with herself. The other members are giving their all, while she can't. She doesn't want their hard work to just go to waste. She realized that if she wants to make it in the music scene, she needs to take another step further in fixing her social anxiety. She needs to be bolder. And thus, in their next song, Bocchi started to rock. She performed at her peak level in front of a live crowd. No more hiding, just her showcasing herself. The amazing detail here is that in the original song, the intro was not there, meaning Bocchi improvised the whole thing in order to salvage the performance. A pretty good one, might I add. Everyone was amazed, and the bandmates got her message, got their feet up, and their overall performance ended in a high note. pun intended. This anime needs moments like this in order for the band to have direction, and most importantly, to give Bocchi some character development, that she's not just a socially anxious comic relief for us to laugh at or with, that throughout the anime, she tries her best to overcome her social anxiety, that slowly and surely, she will be the rock star that she's been dreaming of. Bocchi The Rock showed us the fun and joy and excitement of slowly making your dreams come true. But at the same time, under the happy, youthful, and cheesy or pretentious songs lies the struggles that they've faced or will face in the future, reminding us that it will not be an easy ride to the top without ruining the overall optimism of the anime. Bocchi The Rock reminded me of myself 10 years ago. A shy kid who also got inspired by rock stars for being able to be themselves unapologetically, thus taking music seriously. Writing songs as I do the vocals, I taught myself to play guitar, a bit of drums and keys, and my favorite musical instrument, the bass. However, back in college, right as my band at the time is about to take it a step further, I realized how hard and uncertain it is to pursue a music career. We're not exactly the richest folks in town. So, I made the hard decision of quitting music altogether. It was disheartening that I had to give up my passion. What the hell are you playing? But after finishing college, I don't think I regret it. Cause looking back at it now, I don't think we had what it takes as a band. And also, my music taste has completely changed and diversified, that if I were to pursue a music career again this time, I would rather be a solo artist with my instruments and my digital software on. I am glad that I watched Bocchi The Rock. I was not expecting it to impact me this much. It made me remember the innocent feeling of being a musician, even for a short while. That feeling of liberation when you're performing. It's nice being reminded of it from time to time. I really do relate to Bocchi, not only as who I was as a person, but also as a musician. Because music really is a place for the misunderstood to be understood, for the overshadowed to shine, and for the restricted to be free. Trademark. But introspection aside, the first season of Bocchi The Rock is amazing. Yes, I said season 1. Entertaining characters, creative presentations, good music, and has a surprising depth to it. An anime that is full of character, passion, and soul poured into it. Although I may just be overanalyzing the anime just like the video essayist that I am, but this is how it made me feel. I know that non-musicians and socially normal people might not get the same impact as it did to me. The toxic shonen fanboys watching this are probably mad right now that I called a slice of life anime peak, cause apparently shonen is the only kind of anime that exists. But, you know what? F*** it. Bocchi The Rock is perfection.